What up, everybody? It's another freaking crazy week. They're finally getting caught on this shit. We got Devon Archer, one of the best friends of the Bidens, spilling all the beans, and it looks like Biden was on a lot of phone calls that he said he had no dealings with. The armed forces is saying no more white people as pilots. Ugh. The crypto guy that scammed everybody, Sam Bankman's getting off the hook, probably because he's a Democrat donor. Stick around. So, story of the freaking week. We're going to jump right into it for you guys, okay? Hunter Biden and Joe Biden. Let me start over. Story of the freaking week. We're going to jump right into the goodies, okay? Everybody in the planet knows that Joe Biden on multiple occasions says that he had no business dealings with his son.
Or had no
Period.
idea. No idea
Yeah,
about it.
I know nothing about any of it. I don't communicate about it. We don't talk about it. Multiple occasions, right?
Yeah, he acted surprised himself.
He even says, I've never received one penny during the debate with Trump. I've never received one penny.
How dare you?
And now we have somebody named Devon Archer that was some of the best friends to the Bidens and was there for a lot of these conversations where he said on the record that he was there 20 times at least. Where Hunter Biden picked up the phone during a serious business deal, put his father on speakerphone, and conversated. The thing that Joe Biden was supposed to have no clue of was total bullshit. Check this out.
Fox News alert, Devon Archer, the man who Hunter Biden once called a Biden, just flipped on the first family. And it's bad. Archer, who's been in Ukrainian board meetings, Chinese dinners, to the Biden family beach house, is saying that Joe Biden was on the phone with Hunter and his foreign business partners at least 20 times. 20 times. Archer says it was to sell the Biden brand. And Hunter described the Biden brand as gold. Here's how it worked. President Barack Obama would assign Joe Biden a country to handle. And when Biden was assigned to a country, a dirty company with a lot of problems in that country would hire Hunter Biden because they needed something from Joe Biden. Hunter would have dinner with some crooked foreign kleptocrat, and in the middle of dinner, he'd say, hey, let's call my pop. He'd get his dad on the phone, put it on speaker, and Joe Biden would say hello to Hunter's business partners. And that was what the business partners were paying for, that phone call. They were paying Hunter because he could get Joe Biden on the phone like that. And everywhere Joe went, Hunter got paid. And Joe delivered. Devon Archer told House investigators today that the corrupt Ukrainian gas company, Burisma, only hired Hunter so his father, Joe, could get the prosecutor investigating them fired. Devon Archer testified Hunter was with the crooked Ukrainian CEO when he called D.C. to demand Joe Biden fire the prosecutor. 3 days later, Joe Biden flew to Ukraine and got the prosecutor fired and then bragged about it. This is what Democrats impeached Trump for probing. Devon Archer also testified that Hunter pulled the same move with other fat cat foreign execs. Archer says Hunter put Joe Biden on the phone with his Chinese partner, Jonathan Lee. And remember, Joe Biden flew Hunter to China on Air Force Two, where Hunter met Jonathan Lee. Hunter introduced Joe and Jonathan Lee in Beijing. They shook hands. It was a $20 million handshake. The Bidens made $20 million from that Chinese deal. After Hunter was given an equity stake in the Chinese investment firm, the Obama-Biden administration greased approvals for Jonathan Lee to take over American car manufacturers. Joe Biden, who claims he didn't talk to his son about his business, even wrote a letter of recommendation to Brown University on behalf of Jonathan Lee's daughter. Jonathan Lee is a Communist Party power broker who our vice president went to bat for, helping his daughter cut the line in the admissions offices at Ivy League schools. Why? Because his family was getting paid. Devon Archer also testified that Vice President Joe Biden personally met with a Russian billionaire, Elena Batrina, back in 2014 while VP at Cafe Milano in Georgetown. Joe Biden had dinner with her, and a month later, the Russian billionaire wired Hunter Biden $3.5 million. Now, Democrats say Joe Biden had no idea who he was talking to.
It was clear that it was part of the daily conversations that Hunter Biden had with his father, and it was and sounded like most of the time now President Biden didn't even know who the people he was at dinner. He was just asked to say hello, and he would talk about the way he described it several times. They asked over and over and over. He described what the weather was, how what's going on your end.
The Democrats went from the laptops Russian misinformation to Biden was having dinner with Hunter's business partners, but all they talked about was the weather. Now, when I eat dinner, it's usually at least an hour. I'm there for 3 courses. You can talk weather for maybe 5 minutes tops. But Biden's talking to a Russian billionaire about the weather the whole dinner? What's it like in Moscow? It's cold. Biden's had meetings at Cafe Milano with the Russians, the Ukrainians, the Mexicans, Kazakhstanis, even the Greeks, all Hunter's business partners. You're saying Joe Biden talked about the weather the whole time and had no idea who he was having dinner with? Even if Hunter puts his business partners on speakerphone with his dad and they don't talk business at all, you're saying the next day when Hunter talks to Joe, and they say they talk every day, Joe doesn't say, hey, Hunter, what are you doing in Dubai, and who are those Ukrainians you put me on the phone with last night? Come on. The Biden family was selling access to Joe. The phone call, even if it was weather-related, was the access. And Biden always delivered on the back end. The Chinese and the Ukrainians got what they wanted out of Biden. Even the Russian lady who bribed Hunter $3.5 million, Joe Biden left her off the sanctions list. The one Russian billionaire not on the sanctions list happens to be the same one who paid the Biden family millions of bucks. But the Democrats say, what was Joe Biden supposed to be, rude and not say hello to Hunter's corrupt foreign business partners?
Clearly he talked, whether about the weather or whatever, but he said specifically that he's never talked to them. Doesn't this contradict?
He never said that he has never spoken to anyone. He said that he had nothing to do with Hunter Biden's business dealings. If he says hello to someone that he sees his son with, is he supposed to say, hi, son? Oh, no, I'm not going to say hello to the other people at the table or the other people on the phone? It's kind of a preposterous premise to think that a father should not say hello to people that the son are at dinner with.
In the background.
So the new defense is Biden's mismanners. Snubbing his son's sniveling and conniving foreign business partners would be the wrong thing to do. Now, we know that Hunter Biden brought his sleazy business partners to the Obama White House over 100 times. So Joe Biden never asked Hunter, who are all these people? The only thing he asked was, what's the weather like in Bucharest? I mean, at this point, Joe knows more about the weather than Al Roker. So, why did Devon Archer flip? Well, because he's going to prison. And he thought, being Hunter's best buddy would keep him out of prison. Devon Archer can't be too happy with Hunter Biden right now. Here's a text he sent to Hunter. Why did your dad's administration appointees arrest me and try to put me in jail? Just curious. Some of our partners asking out here. And then this one. Why would they try and ruin my family and destroy my kids and no one from your family side step in and at least try to help me? I don't get it. Devon Archer was sentenced to a year in prison for stealing $60,000 from an Indian tribe. I think it was more than that. Hunter Biden was a part of that deal and was the only one not to get indicted. Once again, everybody in Biden's orbit arrested, in prison, or they're missing. And before Devon Archer's testimony, Biden's Department of Justice sent a threatening letter to Devon Archer's judge telling him it's time for Devon to report to prison soon. This comes on the heels of us learning about another House Republican that says Biden's got foreign bank accounts. They're under investigation. Listen.
When we pulled up the first tranche of suspicious activity reports, of which there were more than 170.
Okay, so I read that a few days ago, that the judge from his case had said, hey, it's really weird. He's going to go in and testify. And I just got this letter said, you need to put him in jail immediately. What's up with that? We know he's going to Congress to testify. We can take him to jail after that. Why did I just get this letter from the Department of Justice that said arrest him and put him in jail right now? They are desperate. They're like a rabid animal clawing to get out. Like,
dude,
that's so obvious.
The fact that they're going so hard with the Department of Justice is so alarming. It's so alarming.
How
like,
are
they
people
are
not waking up?
Well, see, that's the thing. I don't think anybody's paying attention to anything anymore.
They're trying. They're trying. Like I said, I think it was last week, I said that they focused on the Carly Russell thing because it was like, oh, nobody pays attention to black women missing, blah, blah, blah. And they thought that might have been a good thing to, hey, we need to help find this lady. And they're like, dang it, it ended up being a hoax. Because I think they're doing anything to focus on.
They want big cultural stuff to draw attention away from massive political stuff.
Yes.
Yeah, there's also UFO news everywhere all the time too. Like, oh, look at this.
I am so tired of it.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. They're like, oh yeah. I'm guessing within the matter of a couple of months, they're going to put something together where they're going to go, yeah, we spoke with the aliens and what they said was, if you don't immediately change course and go carbon neutral, your planet's going to destroy itself. We've seen this happen in other civilizations. Quick, give Klaus Schwab the power.
You
quick.
didn't even. You just suggested something that I didn't even think of, and it's so scary that I think you're actually right.
Oh, for sure. We'd love to reveal ourselves to you. We wanted to reveal ourselves to all the humans, but because of their hatred for the climate and their hatred for Mother Earth, we were nervous that they would hate us too. You know, like it's going to be emotional manipulation times 10.
Gosh.
And there's going to be 20% of the population that's like, oh, dang, that's tough. We should have been better. We should have been better, guys. And then they're going to like wield this against us the same way that they wield it as fact that men can be women, you know, and they're like, are you crazy that's not the case?
Right.
Bro, these people are bonkers, bro.
But the thing is that the American people lap it up. They lap up the lies. And they let it get them out of their critical thinking frame of mind, like the capability that each and every one of us has,
right, to
think critically. But for some reason, we have a better propensity to go and just go with the herd, like lemmings. Oh, everybody's just walking off that cliff. Well, I guess I'll go too. Hey, I'll believe what everyone else is believing. I don't know why we are like that as human beings.
Yeah.
But that's why these big lies are believed in so great numbers, or at least gone along with. There are a lot of people too who just go along with it and just like keep their actual opinions to themselves.
Right, which is just as bad.
It's terrible.
You know what I mean? It's like, come on, if you know the truth, you got to say something, man.
Right.
The shit smells fishy, especially when they're especially as they're slowly digitally herding us all into like a locked cage. You know, like you're not allowed to be quiet at this point. You got to say that like they're lying about everything. Be careful with what you hear. Like if you're a human and you're trying to help your buddy, the first thing you say today, if you meet a random human, is, hey, you know, if the government tries to scare you into doing something, probably don't do that thing.
Yeah.
That's like just generally good advice.
I agree.
You know, like look at all these people look at these people post jab. Look at Jamie Foxx.
Oh my gosh.
You know?
We were talking about that earlier.
Yeah, look at Jamie Foxx post jab. This dude looks like a completely different human, man.
Well, and that'll happen if you get sick in the hospital for any amount of time with any serious illness.
Sure.
But the thing is, what is the serious illness? Jamie Foxx looks like an in-shape dude. He's looks great. He's always moving around. He does not strike me as somebody who's eating glazed donuts and drinking Pepsi all day.
Right.
So he was in relatively good health. What is this mysterious illness that made you whatever it is that the truth is, because we still don't know what exactly happened,
right?
But to make you go into the hospital with such a serious episode, we all kind of have an idea. But anyway, yeah, but what is the narrative? Oh no, it's fine.
Yeah,
in fact, get your booster.
Yeah, get your booster, everybody. Relax. Everything's totally fine. Meanwhile, we have
athletes are dropping
20-year-old athletes that at peak performance that
LeBron
are just
LeBron James' son.
Yeah, dude.
18. And cardiac. And you know what? Oh, you're gonna love this. I saw a news article trying to. Everybody keeps saying heart attack. A heart attack is different than a cardiac arrest. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry that we're going to split hairs here. The point is that an 18-year-old athlete's heart is fucking up to the point that he could have died. That's not normal.
Right. That's just not normal. I don't care what you think. You're not supposed to have real problems with your health until at least like your late 30s if you've got serious problems. You know what I mean?
Right. And it happens. Now, some people are bringing
Some
up
people-
like there was one guy in like the 80s or something that just dropped dead on the field.
Right.
You're right.
It
But the
happens very
amount-
rarely. But from
Yes.
what I saw this study, and I think it says it's increased 1,600% or something like that as far as athletes falling on the fields. I don't know. We got to look that up, but I'm sure you get it.
I did see that. I did see that. I did turn my hair thinking.
You're good. We bought these shitty little AC units because
Yes.
we're upstairs in like an attic type thing or whatever, and they're just trash, but we're using them anyway because it's like kind of a gimmick at this point.
It's something.
Yeah, it's just
is hot.
it's something.
Hot. Yes, but I going back to what we were saying, it's the amount. Like the thing is, again, critical thinking skills that nobody is paying attention to. Yes, I get it. I get that there could be that one person that had a congenital heart is something and they hadn't been pushed like an athlete up until like this age or something. They just dropped dead on the field or had a cardiac arrest. I get that. The amount that it's happening, because usually now you have to sign a bunch of medical forms, you have to go get checkups. That wasn't like that back in like the 70s and 60s. They're just like, oh, get on that field and if we'll see if the ticker works or not, right? It just used to be like,
Yeah, of course.
the strong kids could keep going, weak ones fall off, that
But
kind
I
of
did
thing.
see that. Wasn't it some public schools trying to do that? They had to sign a waiver for the kids that if they happen to have a cardiac arrest on the field, they weren't going to be in trouble. There was like public schools that were like for like public high schools.
Most of them are kind of like that, but they still have to like, I think you have to go in with the expectation that there is risk with putting going in yourself or putting your child in intensive sports. There is risk. Now you have to check the boxes like go get a checkup. You got to check the blood pressure. You know, there's certain things that they make them to make it as at least hopefully we'll notice something, but you can't always catch everything.
Right.
It's the amount that it's happening in professional sports and college athlete. By then you'd pretty much know if you had some sort of heart defect or something was going on. It's just happening in such large percentages. A female swimmer, like a Jamaican female swimmer,
died in the swimming pool the other week.
Like a 34.
Yep.
This is weird.
And they're just trying to act like it's not. That's the thing.
Right.
It's like,
Well,
you
it
guys are all
happens.
just overreacting. It's
Yeah.
like, okay, so conspiracy theorists were wrong about everything revolving around the jab. And you know what? I bet you that is the position of a lot of people. They're like, you guys were wrong from the get-go. Meanwhile, all of your shit got more expensive as soon as Biden got in, like we said. And we went into World War III, essentially. And we've sent $100 billion of your money somewhere, and housing is unaffordable. Pick three more categories, bro.
Exactly.
Pick three more categories. The depression's out the wahoo. People, LeBron's school.
Oh,
Did you
I
see
saw.
that?
Yes, I promise. School.
Yeah,
Yep.
so LeBron's school basically hasn't had a person pass a math state test in 3 years. You know, and taxpayers are paying for that school that
Yes.
LeBron started, $8 million or something a year.
Yes, he
And
puts
so it's
in
just
like 1.4 million himself a year or
Right.
something like that.
Could you imagine
Then the-
paying $1.4 million into anything and a kid couldn't read or couldn't do math at the end of it, bro?
And well, no, what's even better is that there's a bunch of free stuff attached to it that the other public schools in that area don't get. There's like free tutoring, there's smaller class sizes. They don't have to follow like the public school. It's like 35 kids now you can put like in a class. They have very small class sizes. So there is a bunch of things in place in that school to succeed. But see, the thing is that what have people been saying? Oh, it's not the culture of certain areas. It's not that. The parents don't have to change. It's because those areas don't have enough money.
There's not enough resources.
There's not enough resources.
Never enough resources.
Yeah, it's not the culture. It's not how parents are raising their kids or not raising their kids. No. It's the government's fault. It's the school's fault, and they just need more money. Watch, we're going to make this amazing school that now is being forced to, they're threatening to forcefully take control of it from the state because it's doing so poorly. And the other schools in the area are complaining because the way that we know LeBron is political. So, you know, the politicians down to the lowest tier are saying, hey, make sure that school we need this to work because we will not let LeBron's project fail to show the racism and blah, blah, blah that is actually through this. So we need this.
We need them to know that if you pour money and resources onto anybody, it just makes them bloom. Turns out that's not the case.
That was not the problem. And you were taking resources from the other schools in the area because they said, no, we can't let this fail. And then that's where the kid got beaten too. The white kid.
Was it LeBron's school?
It was LeBron's school. Yep.
Speaking of hating white people, the army.
That's a great transition.
The armed forces. This son of a bitch comes out and says this.
The Civil Air Patrol has a fella, I guess some kind of a spokesman, Mark Wu-Tan, gone viral on TikTok to insist National Service stop hiring middle-aged white dudes.
Stop hiring middle-aged white people, especially dudes that are pilots, because honestly, we all think alike too much. And if we're going to be preaching diversity and being inclusive, and for crying out loud, let's back it up with let's make the rhetoric meet the reality.
Could you, knowing that the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff is more concerned with fighting white rage and indoctrinating the cadets and the troops into woke ideology, anti-white ideology, anti-male ideology, could you seriously say, yes, the best path for you, son, is to join the military?
Act like we watched the video. Yeah, we'll just act like we watched the video. Unbelievable. That is direct racism. Direct racism.
Exactly.
There's just way too many white people. Imagine if you
And
were
he
a
said,
Japanese.
because they think the same.
Imagine if you were in Japan and you were the head of the armed forces in Japan and you were like, man, there is too many Japanese people in our armed forces. This is obviously racist. Bro, America is mostly white.
It just is.
Come on. Can we have anything unless it's racist? Yo, the one person you don't want affirmative action on, which, by the way, has been ruled as illegal. That's why Harvard is in trouble or whatever, because they were doing affirmative action, basically.
They were.
But the one person you don't want to be affirmative action hire is a pilot. You don't want your pilot getting there because people helped them get there and they didn't meet the credentials like everybody else does.
Did you hear what his reasoning was too? Because we think the same and blah blah blah. And I love this self-deprecating thing he's trying to do to keep
right, because he's white, so he's allowed to be racist against white people. But if Candace Owens is racist against black people, then it's actual racist. It's so stupid. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah,
sorry.
no.
Went off on a tangent.
No, you're on the same track as me. It infuriates me because you're right. I just want the person best for the job. Why don't we complain about there not being enough white people on NBA teams?
Right. I've never heard anybody complain about it.
It'd be diversity, right?
Right.
But the thing is that whoever's making it, they're the best for the job. And that's all we want. For the football players, basketball players, and for effing pilots. Did you see what United, I think it was United Airways, came out with in 2020 or 2021, their mission statement, their renewed mission statement? They wanted to, by the year 2030 or 2025, don't quote me on either of those, but very soon, they wanted to make sure, they said that they are committed to making sure that 50% of their pilots will be black women by 2025 or 2030.
Who said this?
United Airways. But the thing is that either way, like, why are we hiring based on skin color for a career that so many people's lives depend on?
Yeah, I mean, you're describing the problem in Western society right now, where Marxism takes over, and you pick some weird allegiance to bloodlines over actual efficiency. It's like,
that's a good point.
So we don't actually care about the function of the thing anymore. It's not about making the brakes on the car work better. It's about making sure that the person felt good who put them in. Oh, this is a completely different focus than anybody focused on in the last 400 years of like country growth in any country.
Right.
Because as soon as you do this, you ruin the efficiency of the thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Generally speaking, the way that humans work is whoever gets the job done gets hired. That's how it works. I need a person who knows how to do X, Y, Z. But when you give the government all this money and control and power, they artificially can reward things that aren't rewarded in real life, which is why you can have a bunch of freeloading people that are on tons of prescriptions somehow getting more and more money and more clout in society, when in real society, as soon as an EMP went off and we lost all of our electricity, you would be only honoring the men who have leadership capability, physical strength attributes, and women who are able to assist those things.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? It's like all you're doing is you're basically creating this artificial way of life and then funding certain things. And all of it is so that they can take control at the end of it. That's the whole point. The whole point is that the thing can't stand on its own. They want to make it so dumb that as soon as they withdraw their funding, the whole thing collapses. And they go, great, now we have control of all of it like we wanted. By the way, we on the top level still all believe the way that you guys used to believe 50 years ago.
It's really just egregious, and
that's why all these billionaires, they can talk all this shit, but they're these billionaires that are making all these dumb rules, they're all banging 20-year-old hotties. Why aren't they banging the Lizzos? What happened? You made us believe that was the cool thing. You tried to make all your
Right.
people underneath you believe that was the cool thing.
Right.
I noticed
Or
I noticed
attractive.
you aren't drinking soda like everybody else is, but you pumped Pepsi full of X amount of money, so we'd drink it.
Right.
You know, you like, what are you doing? You know what I mean? Like it's all. I always say it like this: it's like a rat who gets to the top and then goes and talks to all the women rats and tells them that men are shit. Men are shit. Don't ever let men in. Why? Because he doesn't want competition from other men at the top. So the women eat the other men. You know what I'm saying? Like that's all.
Yeah.
That's what's happening in our society. Is the guys got to the top and they're trying to eliminate competition from anybody knocking them off or holding them to justice.
Yeah, same thing like the Barbie movie that's trying to
Yes.
they said that it's just basically bashing on men, saying that the utopia is all women, no men. Yeah. And the thing is too with that, how do these young white people feel? They hear this. They're not dumb. Even if they're like younger, 10, 12, 14, you know, and they're into their little world, they know this stuff. They hear it. They read it. How do you think they feel? They're just like, I'm literally living in a trailer. I have to share a room with my 2 other siblings, and we sometimes have to eat just sugar and bread at the end of the month, so before my mom gets her next paycheck. I'm living like terribly. I'm driving a beater car to my dead-end job that I wish I could go and do something else, but because of this color of my skin, I don't deserve.
Right. There's too many white people here at this place. Sorry.
I have
Go to the next
privilege.
village.
Right, I have privilege. Where? I'm working my butt off like everyone else. How do they feel? Oh, just don't hire these white people because we all think alike. What if that guy said that about black people? We don't want to hire, we need to stop hiring black pilots because they all think alike.
Yeah, racism.
This is racism.
Yeah, this is how racism
just
is
because
defined.
it came from him, I don't give a crap. And then he was forced retired recently, and the military and whatever the base he was at, I think he was on Homestead Air Force Base with the tag on his thing. They were all trying to say, oh, we don't agree with what he said. But the fact is that guy was the chairman in the Joint Chiefs of Staff, and that's how he thinks. How do you think all the other ones feel? Just because one is gone?
Yeah, I mean, they probably allow those kind of sentences all the time. Oh, there's too many white people. Okay, well,
Yeah.
we'll make sure there's not a bunch more white people lined up next time. That makes sense. We did get to run the country for a long time. It's important that we hand it off.
It's your turn. Yeah.
To who?
Well,
To which puppet
based
next?
on what? We're all Americans. Based on fucking what?
Yeah.
We're all Americans.
Yeah, well, we're losing all of our hope and faith in the institutions. That's supposed to happen. That's just part of the process.
We need to, because they are really freaking it up. Try not to curse too much.
I mean,
more.
what's a shame is that everything, even if you rewind 10 years,
Mm-hmm.
10 years,
Okay.
everything that you used to think was cool is now gay, lame, or racist against white people. Think about it. Hollywood, all the movies suck now. Every single movie that comes out sucks.
Yep.
Every single movie,
Yep.
right? Think about
All the bad guys are always white males. All the bad guys in all the movies now are always white men.
right? Think about not just music, or not just movies, but music, right? Music, the music that gets pushed on everybody. What is it? It's always about stuff that's never good for you, terrible plot lines.
Have you heard the lyrics to that one really popular song with that female rapper? My pee is pink, but my booty hole brown.
No, but that's a great example.
So it's such a popular song, and I was like, what?
Well, if they can make it sound cool, I'm not going to lie. Stuff sounds cool.
But these are women too, and then the women wonder why can't we? Then you have these single modern women nowadays. Where are all the good men? But reciting my penis big, but my booty hole brown.
Gone?
Right.
Yeah, well, so music, movies, let's think what else. Vehicles, like the light bulbs now, like you have to have LED light bulbs. Electricity, everything's more expensive. I mean,
Well, that's-
name
yeah.
something they haven't ruined, dude. Like
You're
they've
right.
ruined all
Even
the cool
government
stuff.
assistance. Even government assistance. There are people who generationally live on it, who try to scam the system. There are so many people scamming the system. And then people who actually need it, which I'm totally for programs that actually help people in need. But what is it made up of? Who knows? I don't know, 50, 60, 70% of like people who actually don't need it and are able-bodied, but they just don't want to work, or you know what I mean?
Sure. I mean, I ran into that all the time. Like I told you, I would go to people's houses in
That's
the
right, you
hood,
did
man,
tell me
and
that.
I would do their budget breakdown with them in order to show them what like plan they needed to get for something. And they would have like $985 a month would be coming in from Social Security, and they had like a 2-bedroom crappy apartment or whatever, but they'd have Gucci shoes, Gucci purse, Gucci earrings, Gucci belt, real.
Okay.
Real stuff.
Yeah.
And they would drive a Mercedes, not a brand new Mercedes, usually like 8 or 9 years old Mercedes, which means it's breaking down all the time, which is like 3 times more expensive than every other car that breaks down. I remember all the time. I told you the story before. I went into the grocery store. I was making like 6 figures at that point. I made like $100K. It was like my first time. I was learning how to make good money. And I finally had reached at that point, making $100K. And I remember being in the grocery store and like, dude, my family bought like we didn't buy expensive groceries, and this lady in front of me whips out 6 racks of ribs and food stamps on each one of them. And I was like, dang, you know what I mean? Like I'm getting scammed over here. You know what I mean? Like there was, we
used to have to wait for the sales, and then you stock up on it.
Yeah,
when
you
it's
buy
like,
30 of them.
Yeah.
So then I'll have enough for the next year.
Yeah. Or enjoy it once so every 2 weeks. Like that'll be our Sundays. Like, yay.
Yeah. Exactly like that.
And hope that it doesn't get freezer burned, but because you can't afford the regular price,
right?
You got to wait for the sale price.
Right. Yeah. If only there was a way to make sure stuff doesn't get freezer burned.
But you know what the thing is too, is that like, remember when Donald Trump had come and suggested that we do mandatory drug testing for like recipients of hefty government assistance?
Yeah.
And people lost their minds. And I think they even clarified, like, we're not talking about like THC. We're talking about meth, heroin, stuff that you are never supposed to be putting in your body in this country. You shouldn't be receiving benefits if you're spending your money on that stuff, because
right. You don't have much money. That's why we're paying all your stuff. So whatever money you do get, you can't be using on drugs.
People lost.
You don't get to tell us what to do with our money. Well, then you're not getting any of our money.
Right. Why do you deserve ours?
It's like whenever if I was going to help somebody or whatever, like if like the world had 55 people and one of them was an addict or something, and they're like, Ross, I need your help, and I'd had to fund it, I would be like, I require transparency on every single thing that you do if I'm the one who has to foot the bill.
Right.
And we are the ones who have to foot the bill.
Right. And we're not uncompassionate. We want to help people.
Yeah, I don't mind.
Yeah.
As long as I got to choose it and you didn't rob me of my money and then pay yourself $100 billion because you fake like it went to Ukraine.
Well, that already happened. Yeah. I don't know. But yeah.
Speaking of people scamming people, Sam Bankman, one of the largest Democrat funders. Yeah. Sam Bankman, one of the largest Democrat funders, is off the hook, ladies and gentlemen, as you would imagine.
Remember?
What?
We did this story.
Yeah, we talked about this.
Hottest thing. No, back to the whole Sam Bankman-Fried. I think we had, it's been a while, but I think we even talked about it, how, he's probably going to get off. They're just like keeping us quiet by saying, yeah, we arrested him. We already knew then.
Right. We already knew
he's
he was
getting away with it.
Of course he's going to get off.
Let's play. Can we play this video, Jeff, of the update on Mr. Sam Bankman-Fried?
The federal government has dropped charges against Sam Bankman-Fried for campaign finance violations. Why could that be? I wonder. He's a Democrat donor, and that's why he gets off.
Let's explain it in about a minute, maybe less than a minute.
Yeah, he's one of the largest Democrat donors. It doesn't matter that he took all your money and scammed a bunch of people with the help of a bunch of celebrities.
He Ponzi schemed.
He Ponzi schemed everybody and billions of dollars.
Elon Musk knew it. Elon Musk was supposed to invest and do work with Sam Bankman-Fried and FTX when he was like gaining all this popularity and he was this big crypto king and blah, blah, blah. And everyone's like, whoa, making so much money. People like with a brain actually said no when they said I sat with him for 45 minutes and he tried to give me his psychobabble BS about how he's making money and how this is going to work. And they were like, I wouldn't touch it with a 10-foot pole. And Elon Musk was one of those people.
Well, that's good.
I know. But, of course, he's getting away with it.
Much love, everybody. You guys have a great week. We'll see you next time.
Finger guns.